Hi guys, thanks for joining me. It's Kelly, the Sunshine Crafter. In this video, I'm going to be using Trinity Stamps Love You Bunches. This is a fantastic stamp. I mean, I'm going to be using these small sentiments to create my background, and this stamp can be used for so many things, and I love it. And it's great for crafty friends. I mean, what's better than that, right? Okay, so I have my panel already made, my A2, and I have a gray piece of cardstock from Bazzill on there. And I'm going to be focusing on, to save time in the video, I'm just going to show you how I put this together and how you can take a stamp set and use it differently for what it was intended. So to start off with, I'm going to speed this up a little bit just to save time. But I'm taking these sentiments that are in the stamp set, which are you inspire me, crafty friend, you color my world, or you make life colorful, and you've got heart, and the ART is like highlighted in bold. So I'm using those, and I'm stamping on Neenah 110-pound cardstock, and I'm just repeating stamping that in a very light gray ink, and I'm just going to create a background. It's almost like making a background stamp without having a background stamp for it. Making my own. Now, check this out. I'm left-handed, so my Misti, I always open to the left. For some reason, with my foam insert, the bottom right, my paper kind of rocks left and right. I check my paper, it's straight. I thought my paper was cut crooked, but it's not. So when I turn my Misti to be like right-handed, it fits in the corner perfectly. So I cannot tell you how many pieces of panels I ruined because I don't know what it is, if it's my foam insert. I don't know. But when I turn it the other way to be left-handed, the paper doesn't fit into the corner perfectly. It'll be straight on one side, but the bottom will be crooked, or the bottom will be straight and the side will be off center. So it's very odd. But if I take my insert, the foam insert out, the frame itself inside is straight. So I don't know. I don't know what it is. I guess it's the mouse insert part. I'm not sure. In any event, okay, so I created my panel. It's a little hard to see here because I have the light brightened. But yeah, it's, there you can see it a little bit. I'll fix the lighting. I'm working on that, folks. Bear with me. But here, I'm showing you, I'm using these sequin stamps. There's like a few of them that come in this stamp set, and I'm just filling in around in some of the openings where, you know, there's like a little open gaps or whatnot, and I'm just using the same color ink, and I'm just going around and I'm adding in those sequins. So I'm basically making my own background stamp with the sentiments and the sequins that are included in the stamp set. Okay, so moving on. The next thing I'm going to do is the focal image. Now with this, I'm using the entire stamp for this, and I'm using same thing, 110-pound Neenah for this, and prepping I use a lot of powder when I prep my area, a lot. And because I seem to always get, you know, residual powder everywhere, so I use a lot of powder. So I'm just stamping that up with Versamark, and I'm going to be doing an emboss resist. So I'm stamping that, and I'm going to be using, I think, clear. Yeah, Wow embossing powder in clear. And once that's done, I'm stamping it a second time. Again, because now I have my Misti for the right hand, I know it's, even if my paper moves, I know it'll be right back in the same position. So I'm getting a new Misti anyway, so hopefully that won't have the same problem. I think it's the foam. It's got to be the foam insert. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, so I'm using clear embossing powder from Wow on this, and I'm heating that up, and it's hard to see. Sometimes when you heat up embossing powder, you think it's melted, but when you turn it to the side, you can still see it's a little bumpy. Make sure you heat that real good until it's nice and smooth. And then I'm just using, not oxide inks, I'm just using regular distress inks in rainbow color. And I'm just going in a rainbow order, not taking too much time to get great blends. I just kind of want to lay down the color. And I'm doing, I forget the colors. I'll list them below. And once I get all my rainbow down, I'm going to wipe off the top. Wipe off the ink off the top of the embossing powder. There we go. That's what I was trying to say. Now, this heart is from it's also Trinity. It's from the Slimline Fold Sending Hugs set. And that heart is a stitch heart. And sorry, I'm leaning over to grab my distress inks. I wanted to add a little bit more ink. So the image is big enough, I was able to cut out 2 hearts. And so I can make more than 1 card. And what's good about that too is making this card is that, again, you get 2 cards from one, because I cut 2 hearts from the big heart. And they have the crafty design inside, which is fun. So now I went to stamp my image and I pushed down too hard and kind of made it mushy. And it got a little blobby. So I restamped it and I didn't push down too hard this time. But then I wasn't pushing hard enough. I wasn't putting enough ink on. Listen, I'm somewhat new to crafting. I've been crafting a couple years, and I'm no pro by any means. So I keep my mistakes and my struggles in my videos, so hopefully you can relate to that. All right, so moving on. I trimmed my focal panel on my background down a little bit so that gray will be peeking through. And just gluing that down. And I found that I used to put the glue right along the edge and it would ooze out and it would get sticky. So if you go in like maybe a 1/4 inch when you put your glue down, go in a 1/4 inch, because allow smush room for the glue to smush out. So go in a little bit if you're having that same problem too. Now I'm just adding some foam to the back of my heart here. And I got my non-stick scissors there. I love these guys. I use them for any time I use foam tape. I mean, I could rip it too, but I just tend to cut it. Now here's another tip that I do this often. When I trim down my sentiment labels, I take a black, sometimes I leave it plain, but a lot of times I take a black Memento pen and I just go around the edges just to make it, stand out a little more against the background. So I cut out Crafty Friend and You Inspire Me, and I'm just adding a small little black thin frame around the outside, just to, makes it look a little nicer with that little black frame. And now I'm just figuring out where I want to put my sentiment and my heart and my secondary sentiment. So it says Crafty Friend, You Inspire Me. And that's it. That's really it. I'm just added foam tape to my sentiments as well. And there was a little boo-boo, a little black smudge, and I'm using my little, I forget what it's called, creative tool to erase that little mistake there. And yeah, there was another one there, so I just got that off. It's a little hard to tell in this lighting, but yeah, so once I got that off, I went ahead and I used my Nuvo Morning Mist Drops. I squeeze a little bit off there, make sure I don't get any air bubbles. And I just squeezed a few drops on my card. And what's great about certain Nuvo drops are thinner than others. And some round out. The consistency is different on some versus others. I'm not sure why. But the clear ones, they are so easy to work with. And I always do odd numbers, like 3, 5, 7, 9, and I put the drops down in different sizes, and then I just tap my my card on my hand or the table, and it rounds out. You can keep them as full or round them. If you hit harder, they flatten out more. They become more like enamel dots. So I really like the clear ones. So anyway, I just want to show you a second card I made, but this panel has an embossed resist background as opposed to the gray. It's a little more subtle, and the heart's a little darker, but they're very similar, just slight variations there. So anyway, I just want to say thank you so much for stopping by. It truly means a lot to me. And if you get a chance, please go check out the Trinity release. And it's a good one, folks. I think you definitely will find some stuff that you want to grab while you're there. All right, have a great day, and thanks for stopping by.